from PRX.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary, it's time for the podcaster that's bringing you some relaxation. It's almost time to slow it down, to take your mind off of stuff and get goofy, get silly. Come on, let's get silly and sidetracked and silly. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. All right, hey, before we move on here, I just want to let you know, as I've said over and over again, you're important. Your sleep's important. I'm here for you. I'm here to keep you company in the deep, dark nights because I care. And if you need extra support right now, there's links to organizations that can help right in this moment, text lines and call numbers right in our show notes. Please use them. And then please think about extending that kindness, extending that empathy and compassion outward to our community members, supporting the lives of the Black members of our community because Black lives matter and Black mental health matters. And if you're in a place where you could do a little bit more and be a part of the solution, there's organizations and links to those organizations in our show notes as well. And if you're interested in the companies that support the show, when your hand hits the fridge tomorrow, you could check out our sponsors right on our website. I'm posting more and more videos of me using stuff so you could see, oh, what is Scoots like, or how does that even work? So you could check that out on our website, because here's a couple ways I'm able to bring this show twice a week for free. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots here, and this is where I kind of talk about our Patreon, but I wanted to say a couple things. You don't have to become a patron. You know, the people that you hear on the Sleepy Supporter Zone, you know, if you're not in a position to become a patron or you don't want to, no pressure at all. Then I would also consider, you know, some people become patrons just for the rewards. Like the $10 is kind of the spot where we get all intro episodes. You get like the Great British Bake Off bonus shows, the Otter Thing bonus shows, story-only episodes, ad-free episodes, and people save money if you become an annual patron. You get 1 month for free. Some people become a $20 patron to get a birthday video, and then some people sign up for $5. They get just like the all ad-free episodes and the story-only episodes. And those are good reasons to become a patron. But you really should only become a patron if you feel something, right? Like that should be the reason. Like if you feel like being a part of a community of rebels that say, you know what, I'm wild enough to pay for a free podcast. I feel good about paying for a free podcast because it puts me to sleep on a regular basis. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel excited. That makes me feel empowered. That makes me feel rebellious because, you know, I'm a member of the podcast that puts me to sleep or whatever. So that would be the main reason to become it is, you know, rebellious in nature that feels good. But you do get a lot of sweet perks. And if you want to sign up, you could go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. If you want a preview of what you get as a patron, you could see it on that page, or you could sign up for our patron newsletter. Anybody can get it. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron news. That has 2 N's in it. PATRONNEWS, I think is how you spell news. And yeah, that's it. Just checking in with you about it. Thanks. All right, everybody. It's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp. You know, if you're having trouble meeting your goals right now, difficulty relationships, trouble sleeping, or if you're feeling stressed or depressed, BetterHelp is available. BetterHelp offers online professional counselors who can listen and help. And I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, is that I've had a lot of struggles throughout my lifetime with mental health and with self-medication and stuff. And working with professional licensed therapists has given me the tools to function and flourish in my life. And that's one of the things I'm so grateful for is the relationship I have with my therapist, someone I can talk to who can listen and help me. And with BetterHelp, you simply fill out a questionnaire to assess your needs, and BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. And this isn't self-help or a crisis line. This is secure online professional counseling counseling. BetterHelp counselors have a broad range of expertise which may not be available in your area. Their service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send unlimited messages to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, and everything you share is confidential. You don't have to worry about going to the office or sitting in a waiting room. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so it's easy and free to change counselors if needed. So you can find someone you're comfortable talking to and working with. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. And this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Sleep With Me listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/sleepwithme. So visit BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme, and you can join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp professional. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the one part of the podcast I really need you to hear. It's where I celebrate the power of you, the listener, keeping the show free by supporting the sponsors and letting them know about it. Do you want to be on the Sleepy Supporter Zone? All you need to do is let me know, let the sponsor know you supported them. Social media, Instagram stories, those are the stuff that works great. But you could give them a call or send them an email too. And tonight I want to thank Laura, Lola, and Heather for getting man crates for Valentine's Day for the people in their lives. One was a jerky heart and the other one was a donut fondue kit. Such cool pictures of both the products and the unboxing. And I want to thank Jink, who got Headspace. We're talking about different Headspace meditations and all of the benefits of meditating with Headspace. So I want to thank Jink, Heather, Laura, Lola for all supporting sponsors, letting the sponsors know about it, letting me know about it. And that's how I thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need. If you need help right now, extra resources, there's links in our show notes to organizations you could call or text or contact right now. It's also about supporting the members of our community, saying Black Lives Matter with our actions. And there's going to be links to organizations in the show notes to help you on that journey to helping the members of our community. And speaking of supporting our community globally and then our community locally, the third part of Sleepy Supporter Zone is something I support, and that's ideas from you listeners. Carl W.'s been sharing ideas. How can we get engaged and help support those in need in our local communities? And Carl's got another one for us, animal rescues and shelters. Carl said that the organizations with him, that some places can be overworked or understaffed, or they just need volunteers to help run things efficiently. That can be as simple as keeping animals company, taking dogs out for walks. And if you do that, you get an exercise along with it. This is also, Carl said, great if you don't want to cohabitate with an animal, but you want to spend time with animals, volunteer at a local rescue or shelter and let me know about it. And that is the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone, which is now over. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episode. Kenny, Scotty, and Jennifer. Eric and the team at us down or on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. We're raising money for the Water Wheel Foundation, and Scooter might get a perm.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. I'm at Dear Scooter on Twitter and Instagram. That's where you can find me. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, things on your mind you're thinking about. Those are thoughts. Thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, so anything in your body or your emotions coming up that's, getting in the way. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't mean to say it that way. I'm sorry. Thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. You don't feel like you're in the way. I know that. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. It was just using it in a figurative sense to say that currently your needs for attention are outweighing the needs of this human here who needs to rest too. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I'm going to help. That's what I'm here for. Help all of you. Whatever's keeping you awake, or if you're awake and then you're keeping that person awake, totally understandable. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to create a safe place, and that's why I apologize right up front, so I'm not perfect. Holy moly, am I not perfect? And I even all the time, pretty much. I guess if you're not perfect, you're not perfect all the time. I never realized that maybe that could be a source of relief suddenly. Why can't I have that on a T-shirt and a stitch pillow or whatever it's called? If you're not perfect all the time. Also, maybe I could get it on a poster with a cat like doing something instead of the cat one that they used to have that said, "Oh dear," but used stronger language. I'm so not perfect. I got to get back to this podcast intro. Hopefully I'll come back to that, because if I'm not perfect, I'm not perfect all the time. And I know we have the other side of that, truism, brand newisms and truism, brand newest truisms on here on Sleep With Me, the podcast. This is the first, I think it's probably not the first new truism, but newism. I wish there was a way to rhyme that better. You're right. If again, another sign of my imperfections, I'm embracing them, and I'm embracing all of you. And sorry, I got to get to this listener here. Excuse me. Thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, and et al. And VIPs. You're not and all or whatever they say. You're not just and all. And all the VIPs. I call you brain bots usually, even though you could be physical or emotional or thoughts. And I know it's not easy. That's, again, why I apologize. I guess I'm now just showing another side of that IP because, I guess I'm overstating my apology. Yeah, because I guess I wanted you to really accept it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. I'm going to go off topic, which you've already seen. Went off topic extra early, just about, just being myself. Old IP. That's another one. I can only be myself all the time. I mean, well, actually, some of the times they say, well, I'd rather be, whatever I'm fantasizing, a character from a musical or movie or a cartoon or a TV show or a comic book or a novel or a short story or just imaginary event or an idealized version of someone else that could be me. But I'm still myself. Everywhere you go, there you are. That one somebody else said. That's how to sum it up. Or, our ego said, everywhere I go, here I am, yo. That actually rhymes, too. I haven't heard it stated quite that way, but, so anyway, I'm going to send my voice across the deep dark night. I'm using lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents, all to take your mind off of stuff, keep you company as you and your human fall asleep. And so a couple of things to know, whoever you are, I'm going to have to go a little bit more general to all my, because I got my regular listeners, I got their brain bots, I got my new listeners, Meet your brain bots, new listeners. They're the little things cruising around in your brain, in your body, and your feelings. They're semi-nocturnal, though they also are dineural or whatever, and binaural, believe me, in both ears, all the time. And I don't know any other words with rhyme with neural right now, other than neural, that doesn't rhyme. Squirrel does not rhyme with those words, unfortunately. Squirtle does. I think Squirtle's a character in somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, hi. I'm here to take your mind off stuff. Now, if you're new, this podcast is very different. You probably already learned that, but let me just acknowledge that again and tell you the strangest thing about this podcast is you kind of barely listen to it. That's the best way to consume it. Let's say, because the brain bots are a bit like droids, and I do like to use BB-8, or in my case, BB-88. That's all I could afford was BB-88, like a refurbished, it was a BB-4. They got refurbished, but they sold it to me. And they said, do you like BB-8? And I said, yeah. And I said, is that a joke? And then they said, no, we got BB-88 here. But I want you to, you don't know who BB-8, well, let's just imagine like bird watching. Sometimes you just kick back and you're watching the birds, not as a hobby, but just as something you're just barely paying attention to them. That's kind of how you say, okay, I think, and somebody comes, they say, you're watching the birds? What bird? No. I mean, there's some birds. I was looking at them, I guess, kind of. What kind of birds did you see? I don't know, winged ones or winged ones? Ones with feathers, I don't know, gull, perch. Is a perch a kind of bird? No, that's a common fish, though. I don't know. Maybe it was on a perch. I can't remember. It was so relaxing. I was barely paying attention to the birds, but I was kind of paying attention to them at the same time. I like it. Well, that's what this podcast is like. You say, that's an interesting way to describe it. So just kind of barely pay attention. You might be tempted, though, to wonder when the sleepy stuff is going to start or when the story's going to start or when's my voice going to get soothing. And all I can tell you is the experience of millions of people is that it takes 2 or 3 tries to get used to this podcast. Millions of people have said, at first, Scooter gets on your nerves. That's my most common interaction. But then eventually you learn to ignore him. And really, when I go to the big farm in the sky, I'm not being facetious. Please print that on my thing, print that on the old marble thingamajig. If I get to that point, whatever I said or something like that. First he gets on your nerves, then you ignore him. It's a dream. And this is serious, though. So if you're new, you might think I'm joking or being self-effacing. No, that's the truth. That's the pinnacle experience of this podcast. You kind of say, I don't know what this is. I don't know if I like it, but give it a few tries. Most listeners that it works for, they listen. I mean, I've been talking to people that have been listening to the show since 2013. So just see how it goes. So that's the first thing to know. This is a podcast that takes a while to get used to, but you don't even really listen to it. It's also a sleep podcast. It doesn't really put you to sleep. It keeps you company while you fall asleep. That's why I'm here for about an hour, to take your mind off of stuff and give you plenty of room. And if you can't sleep, I'll be here the whole time to keep you company. Or if you wake up and can't get back to sleep, or you just wake up and you want to go back to sleep, whatever it is, or you need a distraction at work, or you're on a weird schedule, I'm here to help. The other things that can throw you off if you're new is the structure of the show. So let me tell you about that. The show starts off with a few minutes of business. That's how we keep the podcast free for everybody and coming out on a regular basis. Actually, the show starts off with a greeting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary. Then business, then the intro. The intro is around 12 to 20 minutes, so around 6 minutes to 22 minutes of the show. And it's really an essential part of the podcast. For new listeners, it's where I introduce you to the show, introduce you to brain bots, be imperfect in the most showy way possible. I mean, isn't that what clowns do in some sense? You say, okay, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be imperfect. Well, you're already done with that. So what else are you going to do? Well, I want to be imperfect and showy. Oh, like have giant shoes you trip over? Or spill buckets of water that are filled with confetti. That is what I want to do. Would you like a cream pies thrown or, oh boy, that's the most showy kind. You see, other than some other careers that are very showy and imperfect. I mean, I guess in every sense, like sports performances, but I was trying to just stick with. So also forgot what I was talking about. Oh, so the intro is kind of where I just show. So the intro is for the new listener. It gives you an idea of what to expect, but for the regular listener, it becomes part of their routine. And so for the regular listener, it could be part of your wind down routine where you start it as you're getting ready for bed, or as you're in bed, or you're doing your wind down routine, or you're doing your skincare routine, or your health, your oral care, or maybe you're just relaxing, or you're falling asleep, whatever it is, you'll kind of develop a thing, or you'll be like the 2% of people that skip ahead to 20 minutes or 22 minutes or 18 minutes and they start the show there, or you'll be a patron and you're like super involved. So you kind of just see it first, just see how it goes. But then, as you become a regular listener, you kind of adjust. But the nice thing about the intro is I'm your boyfriend. I come with something new every time because I know you need it. And I know that's really why I do these new intros every time, because I need something new. I do, personally, because my brain bots adjust. My brain bots want entertainment just like a mild bear, they want to be barely entertained. That's the best part. I could just barely entertain those parts of you. They don't have to be like, they're saying, wow, this is mildly amusing and entertaining. I'll actually listen to this creaky, dulcet, imperfect person. And I don't have to tell you about that spelling test at fourth grade anymore, that when you spilled orange, why did you have orange juice as a spelling test anyway? Okay, so sorry about that. No, it was dried orange juice that was on the back of my hand, remember? Until somebody pointed it out. Yeah, so anyway, so that's the structure show. Oh, so the intro goes on and on and on for new listeners, but regular listeners tend to work it in the routine. Then there's some business. Then tonight will be a recap of the Great British Baking Show or Great British Bake Off, and it'll be the second episode. I don't know, it'll be like it's gonna be, we're gonna be talking CAKESs. So we'll talk about that, and I'll do it and this is new. This is only the second episode I've covered, so it's kind of experimental, and I think I'll do it like a reading of my notes. So it'll be very bit jumbled, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. So it won't be interesting. It'll be kind of interesting. And then the show ends with some good nights and thank you. So this is a structure show. That's what to expect. The reason I make the show is because you deserve a safe place where you could fall asleep. You deserve that. And I want that for you. I think our world and your world would be a better place if you're rested and you can, live your life, face the day, deal with stuff, or just have some relaxation and be able to breathe and not have to dread going to bedtime. So if I can help you on that journey, it's my honor. And the other reason is I've been there, tossing, turning. Yep. Mind racing. Yep. Trouble getting to sleep. Yep. Trouble staying asleep. Oh boy. So I know how it feels, and I've had different stages. I deal with all those different stages, and I got those brain bots. And they say, "Hey, can we go through that in vivid detail? That spelling test thing again?" Because I wanted to talk about. I've been running some simulations. You said simulations in a strange way. I did, because I was thinking about all the simulations I ran of how our life would have been different if that whole incident didn't happen. Which incident? Because I don't even remember it. Well, that's why we got to go through it. Was it? It was just that it wasn't a smelling test. It was just that I had orange juice on the back of my hand, and it had dried, and someone pointed it out. And then I think maybe later I washed it in my hands. Oh, you're right. Yeah, so I think I think that one's covered. It was during a smelling test that it was pointed out. Maybe that's why you associated it, but I wouldn't call it an incident. Wow, you're really growing up. Well, actually, technically I did. Well, yeah, you're right. Thanks for your help, though. I got a podcast here for you to listen to that'll barely entertain you. as a reward for your help with that. Great. So that's why I make the show. I've been there, and I'm working on it, and I want to help. So I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate you checking the podcast out and coming by, and I really hope and I can help you fall asleep. And here's a couple ways we're able to bring this podcast twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive, one of the country's leading providers of auto insurance. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you could say what kind of coverage you're looking for and how much you want to pay, and Progressive will help you find options that fit within your budget. Use the Name Your Price tool and start an online quote today at Progressive.com. Price and coverage match limited by state law. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Grove. And I just unboxed my Grove box for this month, and it really is one of the funnest shopping experiences. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just such a great experience. It is something I look forward to. I can't wait to open my Grove box, and then I can't wait to put together my Grove order every single month, whether it's buying soap or dog treats, other pet care stuff, or stuff to clean the floor. Grove makes it an enjoyable, curated experience, and they take out all of the hassle, running to the store, wondering, if the products you're buying are sustainable or good for your home. I mean, I heard that 70% of people say they want to use natural products, but only 2% do. And that's because most of the stuff at the big box stores come from big box companies. They're not necessarily the ones that are the best for you. And that's what Grove Collaborative has figured out. Grove Collaborative delivers healthy home, beauty, and personal care products directly to you. They make shopping for them enjoyable. They have such a wide selection of products, too, and the products work well. So they make your home a place you really want to be. So join over 2 million families who have trusted Grove Collaborative to make their homes happier and healthier. Plus, shipping is fast and free on your first order, and it gets better than that because making the switch to natural products has never been easier. For a limited time, when Sleep With Me listeners go to grove.co/sleep, you'll get to choose a free gift with your first order of $30 or more. That's grove.co/sleep. You just got to use our special code. So go to grove.co/sleep to get your exclusive offer. That's grove.co/sleep, and then share it, please, with me on your Instagram story, on Twitter, on Facebook. Let me know so I can see what you got. I want to see you using your Grove stuff. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody. It's Cake Week here. It's Scoots. We're talking about Collection 6 on Netflix, Episode 2 of, what do we call this show? The Great British Baking Show or Great British Bake Off. It's a different season and show wherever you are in the world. But yeah, Cake Week, it starts off with Sandy and Noel. Week 2, Cake Week. Sandy's, it starts off with Sandy walking in the grass, and she's talking to Noel and talking about Cake Week. And now this is, just froze it, because behind Sandy is a lot of really good looking trees and full leaves. But one of the trees to her right is red. The leaves are red, but they could be naturally red. And Sandy has on a gray sweater with very large polka dots, 2 pink polka dots, 3 orange, 1 green, and 1 white that I can see. And underneath that, like a pinkish red dress shirt. And so she's walking, and she's talking about Cake Week, and then she says, "Oh, whoa, Noel, you're looking amazing." And we see Noel has, he's dressed, he has like a giant wig on. I mean, we're talking a wig 2 feet high and a dress on. And Sandy says, "I love your commitment to the theme of the week. You don't have to explain it. I got it. Marie Antoinette." She goes, "So she didn't really say let them eat cake, but she goes, it's Cake Week." And she goes, "I love that you bothered, but, I'm not trying to nitpick things. Just a misquote in history. Let them eat brioche would be better." But she said, some people said about her because they didn't like it, but she goes, "Well done." He goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." He also has a fan. He goes, "These are the only clothes I had that were clean." And she says, "Clean is good." And she sat under the tree. He was sitting under a tree. She sat next to him. Then we have the opening, like the pre-sequence, the teaser sequence, where they show some stuff going right and some stuff going wrong. And apparently it's very warm in the tent, the hottest day they've ever seen. We see people emotional, comforting one another. Then the opening. So I guess what I could do is read through my notes, and then we'll pop back onto the watch through. Because this week I'm going to try to do a whole episode for an episode. So Cake Week, Sandy and Noel, Marie Antoinette, Red Meat Cake, Brioche, Teaser, Hottest Days, Hugs, Open, Nature, Walk Downstairs, Best of Luck. Then there's Talking Heads. They're supposed to make a tray bake. Someone says posh accent. 16 identical slices. Out first, sponge cake. The judges lay out their expectations. Let's see. Anthony is doing a pineapple coconut something. Burfy, Bakewell tart, briny spinach, half her cockapoo, half Turan. Her cockapoo's name is Archie. Oh, then they talk in Sandy and Briny have an interaction in Spanish, then Danish, which I'll have to pause it. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll come back to that. Then there's a 1970s, Black Forest Gâteau with Kirsch. Oh, chocolate burfi. Here's where Anthony's talking about that. So I'll just pop it up. Tell us about your tray bake. He says frangipane, pineapple jam, and a coconut burfi, which is coconut sweet milk powder, desiccated coconut, and sugar. Sounds delicious. They show him on the FaceTime his mom. Oh, he has a silver pig in his apartment. He's checking on the weather in Bangalore. And then they show his Bakewell tart. It's a tray bake. Looks good. The drawing of it. They say Bakewell tart. I'll have to look up what that is. Probably some sort of thing. Bryony's Culture Clash. There's your first, what is it called? Alliteration. She's doing some hand, what do you call that? Knitting. There's Archie and her running for half marathon. Cockapoo. Orange pastry base, orange infused almond sponge, almond Turan, nougat called a Turan. Okay, so Bryony talks in Spanish, Claro que sí. I studied at a university. Sandy says, oh, don't you speak Danish? And she goes, okay, well, I'll teach you. So she says, I'm not going to teach you. I'll teach you. It could take the whole thing. Konager, Denmark. Let me see. Jog, J-E-G, Jogger, Konger, I don't know. Jag, Canlide, Jorda Bar. I'm the king of Denmark and I like strawberries is what it was supposed to say. So that didn't work out too well for me. Then Dan is doing a European, he's doing the Black Forest Gâteau. Then Ruby's also doing a Black Forest cake, which causes a slight bit of tension. Oh, they showed Dan in the 70s, his 9th birthday cake. I don't remember seeing that. He was also like in a Halloween outfit, I think, or playing dress up as what is that? The Captain Caveman. There's Ruby. Oh, he says Ruby's stealing my idea, but they're kind of being passive aggressive. They're not that mad. She says, hold the phone, buddy. And we have Ruby with her mom, and she says, this isn't going to be as good as my mom's cooking, but she made this last Christmas. Last Christmas, Ruby cooked up some Kirsch. The very next day, her family ate it away. Neat slices, Bruce says. Make sure neat slices. Not a mess. Then Manon. No raising agent, lots of eggs, family farm, fresh figs. I thought that was our first alliteration, but it's our second, a honey cake. And then Terry, everybody's favorite, my daughter and I love, we really practice a lot of empathy with Terry and compassion. Terry, the contestant that taught me empathy, because I can really put myself in his shoes. He's making applesauce batter. Paul is already doubtful. Then they say, oh, yeah, by the way, Terry keeps bees. Terry likes rum raisins and dates and some other word I couldn't find. Something. Peru likes rum. They're always joking about that. I'm surprised with Terry's luck that he keeps bees. He makes beer out of the honey, I guess. Yeah, he likes rum-soaked raisins, moist apple sponge. It does sound good, even though Paul doesn't believe it. Rum syrup into the oven. Oh, then there's the sequence where everything goes in the oven. Warm cake can't be sliced or decorated, they point out in the voiceover. Ruby says, bake well, my love. They have a lot over the series I've been watching of Ruby commenting and stuff, like her food, like a loving mum. Fillings and topping sequence, temperature for a hard crack. I think somebody says that. Rosemary syrup. This is John. Daughters dress. They dress him for work. His daughters. They pick out his Hawaiian shirts. So he's kind of doing Hawaiian shirt meringue tray bake. Pandan. Paul revolting smell. I didn't like this because Paul's not being nice to Kim Joy. He says she's using this stuff called pandan, which he says it smells like it cut me lawn. That's what Paul Hollywood said. Excuse me, Paul Hollywood. Also, this is interesting. I just noticed that it's a little strange. I don't like John keeps his Hawaiian shirts in what looks like his daughter's bedroom. Maybe it's his room. I don't know. It could be. It just, and there's or maybe it's a guest room. So his meringue tray bake. But then, Paul's got to give Kim Joy a hard time. She loves playing board games with Nabil, her boyfriend. So pandan is a long leaf. You get juice from it. Gives it a nice green color. Does smell a little grassy, revolting. Let's see. This is what Paul says. Smells like it cut me lawn. He says it twice, like it's really funny. I just want to see what game they're playing. Oh, wait a second. Are they playing Takedo? You got to be kidding me. I don't know if they are. Whatever game they're playing starts with a T, though. Oh, no. Takenoko. Takenoko? Takeno. N-O-K-O. I mean, I'm pausing it, but that's what it looks like. So not Takedo, but Takenoko, maybe. Takenoko? But she bakes a lot of stuff for their board game sessions, and they look like they're having fun. Pandan, chiffon. Oh, Noel says, frog spawn. Pond waste or frog spawn. Lovely. And they say 1 hour left. Smells like pond water. Could be delicious. He's got a great shirt on. And then, now we have an outdoor. Sandy offers to give Noel a bowl cut. He's kind of already has one, though. Karen's watching her oven. He really laughed at that. So it must have been like when she said, I'll give you a bowl cut. Like it must have been improv, I hope. Then we have a sequence of everybody worrying about their cooking. Paul staring at everybody. Done, not done. Tough, crumbly slices if it's not done the right way. Luke waiting, walking. Ruby. Oscar Daisy. What does that mean, Drew? Scoots. I'm on Scoots on the show. Oh, sorry. But, Paul's. Those are Paul's dogs or Luke's dogs. Ruby, Oscar, and Daisy. Well, at least I know your handwriting was right. Just didn't know what you were talking about. Lemon poppy seed tray bake. Raul is a double layered 5 to 6 test bakes, I think he says. We'll see what he says up here. He works out at a leisure center. That's a new, I'm not kidding. That's a new vocabulary word for me. Gym is a leisure center. I prefer to call it a leisure center. I mean, I haven't been to one in a long time. let's see, double layered. He's testing to see if it's done. I did a lot of experiments with this, 5 or 6 versions. So this is like his 7th iteration. Yeah, and then they show him working out at the leisure center, swimming. It looks like a nice place, and it's in other episodes. Drizzle, 4 layers, 25 cardamom pods, 4 lemons, sorry. Sandy says the lemon smells like disinfectant, and he's always worried. He's really quite a wonderful character or person. I mean, but on the show, they have to make everybody into a character. He's a character, though. You'd say that he just is. Warms your heart. Okay, then they're talking about the cake and the bake times during cake thickness. Time's running out. Everybody's trying to cool their sponge down so they can decorate it and need to be ready. Cleaning my fridge. Oh, Sandy said that about the lemon. Dan and Ruby talking. Ginormous. I looked at that. Use of that word. Time running out. Be ready. Anthony, he's not wearing a watch. Terry has rum for Prue. Ganache. Something in Bryony's ganache, acetate. That's like what I guess you put stuff on so it stands up straight. Karen's doing some beautiful painting of her. Also, something else about Karen that I liked. She's really she's got a really nice. Oh, her shiny blue shoes. They show her kicking it in her kitchen, taking notes. She's drawn out a cake. Almond and marzipan tray baked with rhubarb jam. She's painting the marzipan with stripes, really nice and glitter. Full disco, she says. Sandy hops by like a rabbit. 15 minutes decorating, drizzling. Ruby can't cool her cake down. Sandy cool, crisp, clean slices. There's another quadruple alliteration, or I guess double or triple. Size and cuts, final touches, 1 minute music, time is up, everybody hugs, looks around. 15 minutes and 18 seconds, I want a caterpillar and bird sings, everyone's sitting. Rahul, then they have the teapot, elegant 5-star tea. Maybe they were saying that about his thing. Let me just see this, 15, 18. Ruby and, this close-up on the caterpillar is really cool. Prue likes wholemeal finger sandwich. Mannon's, they say, has a tough sponge. Anthony's is a good balance. Decadent tray bake. Luke's is as tough as old boots. Terry has his worried face. Raisin rum pleasure. Apple raisin rum pleasure. Karen looks elegant. Her cake looks elegant, but too thick and dry. Kim Joy, they say, is elegant with a lovely color, lovely chiffon and texture, but they don't like the pot-on taste. Chiffon is perfect. Bryony, they say hers looks hideous, but it tastes divine and delicious. So, and then she starts crying. She says, I can't believe I'm crying over a tray bake. I said, that should be a song. John's, they say it looks elegant, but Peter's not sure about a whole rosemary leaf. More wispy meringue. Ruby's cake, they said, Paul says it looks like a forest floor, or somebody does, but then he says, fantastic, could even use more Kirsch. Then they get to Dan. Decoration is excellent, impressive, really good, boozy. So good that Paul gives him a handshake. And also Sandy likes his T-shirt. Does that sound right? Let me see. There they are, Bryony's. She's crying over tray bake. There's a Dan's forest floor, but very good. And now we're at Dan's. Dan's cake does look delicious. Decoration excellent here. Everything is neat, piping good, not too thick. Good interior. Paul's about to bite into it. Dan's watching, nodding. Paul doesn't say anything. He says, say something nice, Dan says. And then, Sandy says, I like your t-shirt. And then Paul just shakes his hand. Everybody says, oh, wow, holy cow, you got a handshake. So it's a thing on the show, which plays out. If it's a handshake, it's 5 stars. Blushing, maybe. Something, mouth reckons, talking heads. They have talking heads. Dan says, I can't believe I got a handshake. Brian says, I said I wouldn't cry. Ruby says, Paul is savage, man. Then they say, okay, next thing is like shrouded in gingham. After exterior shot, no practice on this one. It's a mystery. Prue picked it, and this is a technical challenge. The bakers won't have much. Go like the clappers. You don't have much time. They say, okay, you two go off and do some extreme ironing, Sandy says, or whatever it is you do. And they say, Prue wants you to make an impression of a cake. Impressionist painters, Claude Monet's favorite treat, gâteau vert, which is a pistachio genoise, a sponge, crema bear, green fondant, colored green with spinach. Holy cow. 2.25 hours. They have the ingredients. It's Prue's pared down. So there's another Prue's pared down. Claude Monet's birthday cake. Her and Paul talk cake, eat cake, have some tea. They say, Bruce says, this is stressful. So it's whoever keeps their head will, win and do the rest. Genoese sponge. I guess Monet had it every year on his birthday. Whisking the eggs, whisk it good. Do you fold it in or do you premix? Whatever Karen did, it didn't work out because she says, oh dear. So is Dan, softly, gently. Karen, resilient, restarts. No, not resilient, but Karen is resilient because she restarts it. And everyone says it just says bake. So some people are doing 10, 15, 13, 20, 18. Sandy rolls her eyes, making marzipan. There's some more alliteration. Do you like Monet? Water Lilies, Van Gogh. Yeah. Oh, at some point, Noel's talking to Dan. No, not Dan, John. And he says, you know who Monet is? He goes, is he the guy who done his ear in? He goes, no, that's Van Gogh. Pretty poor. There's more alliteration. Pretty poor cake comes out. Sandy. That doesn't not Sandy. Sunned. Make it again. Yeah, Karen did not separate her eggs. Dan's what's that guy's name? John? No, the other guy. He's using the microwave in the background. What's his name? Luke. Sorry, Luke. I'm sorry. Buttercream. Cake smells like hearth. Squeeze it out. Because they have to put the spinach right in there. Dan and Terry are on round 2 of their cakes because the first ones didn't come out good. 3 equal layers. And then there's a sequence. There's a lot of problems with the cakes. People restarting. They're doing the time sequence, starting again. Karen says, oh boy. Sandy rolls her eyes at Noel, and they're doing jokes back and forth. Finally grind the pistachios, combine with the icing sugar, make a marzipan. Usually no one makes marzipan, Ruby says, but then John says, I have. I said, did you just marziplainer, man? Let's see. Manon says, I know Monet, but I've never seen his cake. And yeah, everybody's getting okay. So then best of time, all of you there's stress putting on the toppings, stress sequence. Some people are like, oh, my marzipan looks all right. Then there's 5 minutes left. There's icing. Luke's cakes are so off that he has to use a cake that didn't work out. Karen's cake didn't really rise. So she got unlucky. Even Dan says my cake sunk. Terry, Terry's trying to decide. Oh, this is when Dan and Terry restart. Let's see, someone dealing with pistachios, flowers. This is the final decoration sequence. And then they say time is up. And then they go through and I'll say like the numbers and then we'll go back, I guess. So number one, they said the color, proper layers, a nice cake. 2, cake wrong, color's wrong, layers are good, flavor's good. Number 3 was like wet pudding, according to the judges. Number 4, color good, tastes good. 5, round, filling is good. Let's see, 6, quite nice, all right. 7, lost a layer. 8, thin color, no layers, rubbery, wrong, color wrong. Oh, there's a funny awards sequence said, Nola gives Sandy an award after she says half hour remaining. Goes best call of the year. And they says, oh, no, sorry. That was second best call of the year. And she goes, well, I was going to give an acceptance speech. And then he gives her another award, most gracious defeat of the year. And then he says, no, never mind, second place, sorry. Number 9, they say, is very pretty. 10, we like it a lot. Lovely. And 11, they say, bone dry mess, and the sponge was right. And I think this is the order: Karen, Ruby, Anthony, Terry, Luke, Manon, Bunny. There's no one named Bunny, Scoots. Ruby, Kim Joy, Dan, Raul, and John. Is that right? So John came in first. And he says, geez, oh, yeah, because they interview him. He says, well, there was my kids, my wedding day, and then that, as far as like the great moments of my life. And I don't know the ratings this show gets in England, but I mean, it must be a very significant show because everyone kind of feels that way. Like it's a touchstone moment in their lives. So don't discount it or don't get it twisted. So they do talking heads. We're at 31 minutes. They talk out. They do more hugs and stuff. And then they say, come on, it's bounce back time. So that's the next day. So I assume they film this on like Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. They do a walk back. Okay, so walk back in. Right now, the show is just on the people. They're still tasting the cake. Let me just see. I think Bryony 5th, Kim Joy 4th. 3rd place is Dan. Lovely, tasted great. 2nd spot, Raul. But it's like they go back and forth. Nice cake, well done. And John is very happy. He says, holy mackerel. And everybody claps. People hug each other. They do the talking heads. Karen says, don't worry, I'm coming back tomorrow. So just a showstopper remains. They walk down the stairs. Who will leave the tent? Oh, this is like a tea where they discuss it. They say John, Dan, and Raul are like the star bakers thus far. Manon's really got to get it. Terry, Karen. Karen's ghetto Vera was a disaster. And then Luke, and Ruby even. Ruby's wearing a sweater at this point. So I think it's like cooler in the mornings when it gets really hot out there, wherever this is. It's going to be challenging last bake, they say. Noel says it's too hot for a goth. 2 tiers, a chocolate collar. That's kind of the delish. On your mark, get set, bake. So you have to temper chocolate and acetate. And up here, they do give a pretty good explanation twice, I think, of what tempering chocolate is. It's a hot day. John, pina colada cake, a Hawaiian shirt style pina colada cake. I think I thought his last cake was that. Anthony, so he's going to do his cake in the style of a sari. Normally only chocolatier spruce says make a chocolate collar. Tempering of the chocolate on acid, setting on an acetate, and then putting around the cake. Part architect. And because it's so hot, nobody should be dealing with chocolate, but now they don't have a choice. Down to the T, Mom's favorite, that's Anthony. Orange, Jackson Pollock, this is Ruby's cake. Collar, 2 toes, 3 tries. I don't know what that means. Let me see. Let's see. John, wardrobe, Anthony, sponge, more cream than chocolate. This is Ruby. Favorite orange liquor sponge that her mom likes. Jackson Pollock, I don't know. Let's see. They're like, she might be a little bit of a mess, but I'm strategically doing a messy collar, maybe. Oh, judges say that it's 2 tiers of sponge with a collar. A briny caramel cake, chocolate cake. She's doing 3 tiers. Some are going above and beyond 2 tiers. Terry's humming away. He's doing a, what's that thing called? Eiffel Tower chocolate cake. Let's see, I lost my practice and heat. Quite brave. Terry said, well, oh yeah, I put my heater on 80 degrees or something. Noel does, what is that? He creeps up on Terry. Let's see. He comes in and does comedy. He must have been shooting the Marie Antoinette scene. He comes up on Terry dressed as a Marie Antoinette. Everybody's cracking up and having a good time. Because I guess he's a big celebrity. So it's like you're going to hang out with him and Sandy and Paul and Peru. But at least Noel and Sandy, you don't have any antagonism with them. So that must be fun. And he said it was too hot for a goth, and then he had to dress up like that. Multitasking, cakes going in, different size sponges, so you have to keep an eye on different bake times. Fillings, chocolate sale. Some people are doing 2 as backup. Show-stopping fillings. White chocolate, Swiss meringue, buttercream. That you could pretty much, you tell me that, they say, Scoots, we have that waiting for you. Like I said, I'll be there. Holy mackerel. Like, I don't even know what Swiss meringue is, but buttercream with white chocolate, it all sounds good. But, yeah, scantily put, very succinctly put, Kim Joy, she's doing these cool cat silhouettes, chasing a ribbon, Uzu curd. And she has a nice, almost alliteration, cats wear collars. Mannon's doing it when she was an au pair. She, like, in honor of that, she's doing a princess cake, but it's kind of a pouting princess. No later joke out of order sequence. Let me see what that is. I got the raspberry cat cake right now. Kim Joy's working on Italian meringue buttercream. Like, she is very skilled with the art side of stuff. Holy cow. Oh, hope it's not a catastrophe. That's funny. Mannon's working on her showstopper. Yeah, so she's doing a kid made out of whatever that stuff's called. Not meringue, marzipan. The kid that who used to dress up as a princess. Fondant. Oh, sorry, not marzipan. Almond cake. Chocolate, white chocolate ramparts. Noel pretends it's Sandy, the doll, and him and Sandy. And one's asleep and one's pouting. And they make a joke about him being late. So I don't know if he's late in reality. Bad Boys, Briny. I don't know who said Bad Boys, but that was alliteration. She has to remake her cake and take a breath. Terry, very dubious. I liked that collar, that he's going to be able to get a collar around his cake. Stomach growls. This like had my stomach growling. Just the way they're talking about this stuff. At the time I was watching it, I was like, man. Liquid seafoam. I don't know what that is. Luxurious approach. Whipped double cream with an Art Deco collar. Yeah. Oh, Brian, or, yeah, Bryony's cakes weren't totally done. She says, take a breath, take a breath. Terry's saying his cake looks dubious. Oh, before the wrap around, it has to feel nice and bouncy. The bakers will need to cover the rough edges of their cool sponges. Creme de brer, whatever. I don't know what that is. Saffron into Anthony's. Smells good. While most players are making a flavored buttercream, Luke's luxurious Luke is whipping a double cream. Last bit by hand, so I don't overwhip it. Chocolate crumb coat, Art Deco collar, folded in white chocolate. Oh boy. But he says it's a little hot for this plan. And we get an exterior shot, 1 hour. People are still trying to put stuff in, cool stuff down. Still warm. Oh no, oh boy, there's also layers, biggies. Buttercream isn't melt. You don't want it to melt when it goes on the cake. Quite runny. Oh dear. My buttercream is wilting. Terry's trying to get his kneader. Luke's his whipped cream's melting. Time's running down. Molten crumb coats. Like that fragile fragile something in the war against the heat. Okay, here's the tempering chocolate is the most difficult bit in the conditions, Dan says. So basically you heat it up, then cool it back down, Bryony says. And then Anthony says, yeah, 38 degrees, then bring it to 43 degrees, then bring it down maybe to 30. Basically, chocolate, Raul says, because he says, okay, you want to heat the chocolate's got crystals in it, and you basically want to heat it up. Let me see. You heat it up. So when you heat the chocolate, it breaks down the crystals. And then when you cool it quickly, the crystals form again. And Karen says the gloss, so that's tempered chocolate when you buy something that's glossy. So it's kind of an explanation of what tempered chocolate was. Anthony spends a lot of time on the floor at 4130. That's when Raul explains. Lovely glass, Strawberry Fair. Oh, here's Karen singing. I want to quote Karen singing Strawberry Fair. She's handpiping her lyrics on there from I was going through Strawberry Fair, singing buttercups and daisies. I met a maiden selling her wares, doo-doo-doo. And Noel's making jokes about a lovely lady and a young suitor and her wares on the way to the Strawberry Fair. Dan's collar is, he's done it before. It's very striped. I don't even know how you do stuff like this. He's like measuring it very precise. These like stripes he's making. I don't know, like, for his his raspberry collar, Italian meringue buttercream. And then they say Baker's got a half hour. John's singing, but most people are stressed out, kind of trying to get stuff together. Anthony talks about the beauty of the sari. Let's see, something on its own. Ruby wrapping the cakes. Yeah, that's kind of alliteration too. Anthony's painting. But Terry's trying to get his tower done. Jackson, Pollock, and Ruby. Then external sequence, 10 minutes, Noel's counting on his fingers. Is that right? Then everybody's trying to cool their chocolate down and get it set. And now it's, high intensity. Oh no, it's melting kind of stuff. Let's see here. Wrapping the cakes. Just count. Setting a spray. 5 minutes left. Time to panic. And Dan's trying to wrap his very dubious. Oh, is that? No, that was already very dubious. He said. There's an assembly montage. Everybody trying to put their collars on. Did not set. Terry's tower collapses. Let's see. Are we there yet? Poor Terry. There's Raul, there's Man, and she's putting setting spray on. Ruby's telling herself to breathe. Terry's trying to get his on, but Raul's already putting his in the fridge. So is Karen. Say a little prayer for me. Luke's is literally 5 minutes left. And they say, if you're worried, now's the time to worry. Under pressure, Anthony. Now people are peeling the acetate off. Terry's not happy. Luke is like, he's in trouble. Manning can't get hers to set because it's so warm. Karen's already doing her song on there. Raul's putting his, like, fan, like, it looks like feathers. I think it's what he called those sails. Luke says, yeah, I'm toast. But Terry's, his leaning tower collapses. It becomes a leaning tower, and then it falls apart. Poor guy. And then they say, you step away from your chocolate collar cakes. There's music. Raul comforts Manon, who's a little bit upset, gives her a hug. Art Nightmare. He walks right up to her. He says, you okay? Here, let me give you a hug. He goes all the way around. What a sweetheart. She says, I couldn't get the acetate off. I won't set. He says, here, let me give you a hug with my chocolate-covered hands on your beautiful pink blouse. But then they show the stream, some fish in the stream. And now it's time for the judgments. Let's see. Dan, they say impressive color, stripes beautiful, most something delicious, impressive. It's solid. This is really solid when they cut it. 4 layers with a giant middle, rich and moist. Yeah, delicious. Raspberries, tartness. Nice color. Mighty impressive. Well done, Dan. Then Kim Joy. Her cake looks great too. I'm impressed with the cats. They make you smile. Better taste as good as it looks, though. And they say sponge is firm, a little dry, though. She nods her head. Anthony's, his is a little off, but they say looks fantastic. Color inside is amazing. And not getting the pistachio, Paul says. No pistachio with the saffron. Too much saffron. It's almost a savory cake. Anthony says, oh, boy. Then Karen's cake, hers has like a strawberry top. The collar's neat. Everybody's watching. Really lovely. It melts in my mouth, Paul says. Perfect. Fair play to you. That's great to hear. Thank you so much. Prue can't fault it. John has a hula skirt on his cake. Highly effective. Great sheen on the chocolate. Looks amazing. They start eating it. They go tender. Pineapple's moist. Sponge is fantastically baked. Coconut works well. Love the design. Very good job. And he says, thank you. He takes his cake away. They go, Luke, can you bring yours up? Luke's laughing and shaking his head. He's kind of down. And he says, sorry about that. They go, cream in this heat, yeah. White chocolate, so don't go together with this warmth. Luke takes a breath. They say, the flavor's good. Cake is tough, though. Paul says, raspberry, white chocolate, and cream, though's good, but the sponge is no good. Sorry. Then Manon goes, she's definitely stressed. They cut her cake. They go, nice looking sponge, but the acetate's still on there. They go, well, how come this wasn't off? She goes, well, it wasn't set yet, so. And Paul goes, well, it's set now. And they go, tempered beautifully now. And Paul goes, okay, let's taste this thing. Nice sponge. Nice cake, very smart. Shame he couldn't get that acetate off. Then Terry's, he has no tower, so they say, the ironwork looked brilliant. It's too bad you didn't get it done. Half the Eiffel Tower, but everybody knows what you were trying to go for. And Paul takes a bite. He says, Prue says, well, I'm getting sweetness, but of the buttercream, but the cake is boring. And Paul says, bad luck, Terry. Bryony's cake is up there. And they look at it. They say, okay, she goes, they go, you got to count around 2 of them. Let's take a look at your sponge. Very beautiful sponge. Paul tastes it. We wait, overbaked. You can see by the color on the outside, bit like rubber. Texture's not right, Bruce says, but flavors are lovely. Then Raul, his cake looks gorgeous, wonderful construction. Impressed he kept it together. It hasn't fallen down somehow, even with the heat. Unbelievable. Not just 2 colors, but pipe work. You really are a superstar. Impressed. And then they cut into it. They say a beautiful crack even. Bold, strong colors. They take a bite of it. He cringes and they say, fantastic. Paul doesn't say anything. And he's still thinking about it. And he goes, can you come here a minute? And then Raul's like, oh, no. But we know what's going to happen. He shakes his hand. And he says, I've never given a handshake for a showstopper before. Fantastic. Well done. Everybody else is clapping and happy, so he must be really nice when the camera's off, too. Then Ruby has her Jackson Pollock collar cake. She swallows. They say elegant, restrained, classy, 4-layer cake. Bruce says sponge looks beautifully cooked. Paul pushes it around, pops in his mouth. Bruce says, I could eat this all day. She says, phew. And then Paul calls Ruby up and shakes her hand. And she does like a oh yeah kind of thing. Can't believe it. She does a whoa, way, and he says that sponge, that flavor, hazelnut and chocolate, every element comes through perfectly. So elegant. And then the brittle on top. And she's relieved and happy. She says, well, I was more interested in Prue saying she could eat it all day. Paul's cool, but Prue is what I'm more into. She goes, yeah, I'm really happy because I wanted to really impress Prue. And Raul says, yay. And then he says, I can't believe Paul called me up there. I thought made a mistake. You actually had me. And then they have Bryony kind of saying, okay. Let's see. Everybody's trying to be nice. Luke says, don't worry. It didn't go well for me. And we see birds and sheep. Everyone's lined up. Paul and Prue must decide. Second star baker. What has changed? Extraordinary clear because we went in very clear. But the people that were in trouble, all that's changed. That's what they say. Ruby and Karen did good. And Manon. So Luke and Terry down at the bottom. They didn't do good. Bryony's showstopper wasn't good. She let herself down, but she's better than that. Cake was stodgy. Then they say Star Baker. You got John, Raul, and Dan. And they say, okay, absolutely steady, man. Quite amazing with those double handshakes. And Paul says, I've never done it before. I can't believe I gave out 2. I'm getting soft. And they say, yeah, we're disappointed in you. Okay, then they step up. Tremendous cake-fueled weekend. Sandy gets to say that Raul Star Baker. She gets the pleasure of that. And giant of a tray bake, technically consistent, and got a handshake. Paul's first showstopper handshake. Everybody seems happy, though, not jealous. Kind of it seems like a healthy atmosphere. Then Noel says, I got to do the bad news. And the person that's leaving us this week is Luke. They try to build it up a little bit. But they say, Luke, he's like, yeah, disappointed. But he's a kid. So he shrugs, hugs Sandy first, then Noel. He says, yeah, I'm going to miss everybody here. Then Kim Joy, then John. They don't show all the hugs. He goes, it's just a little me. I started with Monet, taught myself who hugs Paul. I still had Paul and Prue try my food. This is a dream of mine. So hugging John again. Prue tells Bryony next week, you're going to be able to do it next week. So Bruce really seems like she's invested in just, supporting. Terry gets a hug. Sandy says, "You're still in it." And he says, "It's kind of surreal." He says, "I got to practice. Paul tells Raul, "Cheer up, man. Try to relax." He goes, yeah, my emotions. I'm an emotional dude, Paul. I'm sorry." He goes, "Yeah, it's surreal." Paul's handshake, Star Baker. Surreal got used like twice in 2 minutes there. "Hope I didn't peak too early," he says. That's a great way. And then it ends. So you could dream of Star Baker, because you're the Star Baker right now. Good night. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a pastry patrons. Thanks for becoming a patron recently. I want to thank Mason, Katie, and Brandon. Thanks. And good night. I want to thank Ozza, Terry, and Lynn. Thanks, and good night. Renee, Paul, and Naomi. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Whitney, Pamela, and Wayman. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Zachary, Zach, and Jennifer. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Alina, Jason, and Sophia. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Erica, Jeff, and Rachel. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Amy, Danielle, and Morgan. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Cassandra, Jill, and Killian. Thanks, and good night. Carrie, Colleen, and Nikita. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Megan, Rob, and Kaylin. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Christina, Kenneth, and Suna. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kari, Jalen, and Victoria. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Verdi, Elaine, and Aaron. Thanks, and good night. Gabrielle, Patricia, and Alex. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Raitha, Nora, and Andrew. Thanks, and good night. And Emily, Colin, and Catherine. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. You can support the show on Patreon, support the sponsors, or just spread the word about the show, and that helps the podcast. And speaking of spreading the word, here's something I want you to know about. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp. If you're having trouble meeting your goals right now, difficulty relationships, trouble sleeping, or if you're feeling stressed or depressed, BetterHelp is available. BetterHelp offers online professional counselors who can listen and help. And I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, is that I've had a lot of struggles throughout my lifetime with mental health and with self-medication and stuff. And working with professional licensed therapists has given me the tools to function and flourish in my life. And that's one of the things I'm so grateful for, is the relationship I have with my therapist, someone I can talk to who can listen and help me. And with BetterHelp, you simply fill out a questionnaire to assess your needs, and BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. And this isn't self-help or a crisis line. This is secure online professional counseling. BetterHelp counselors have a broad range of expertise which may not be available in your area. Their service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send unlimited messages to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, and everything you share is confidential. You don't have to worry about going to the office or sitting in a waiting room. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so it's easy and free to change counselors if needed, so you can find someone you're comfortable talking to and working with. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. And this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Sleep With Me listeners can get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme. So visit BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/sleepwithme, and you can join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp professional. Thanks, everybody.